Breaking news, Hollywood mourning the loss of beloved actress Loretta Swit. She was best known for her iconic role as Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan on the TV series MASH. Swit passed away today at her home in New York City. She starred in the groundbreaking series for 11 seasons, earning 2 Emmy Awards and becoming a television legend. Fans remember her for bringing strength, humor, and heart to one of TV's most enduring characters. Swit was 87.
Okay, so let's dive into this. Thanks for bringing this source article to the table. It's about Loretta Swit, truly iconic. And you probably know her best, like most people, for one massive role. But digging into this article reveals, there was a lot more going on.
Absolutely. It details her passing, sadly, but it also gives us this great opportunity to sort of step back and appreciate what was a remarkably full life and career.
Right, so our mission today, kind of prompted by this source you shared, is to really go through it. Pull out the key things about her life, her work, her legacy. We want you to walk away with a really clear picture of who Loretta Swit was, especially maybe exploring the layers beyond just that character that made her, a household name.
Yeah.
Because, as this article really hints, her career was actually pretty broad, and her passions ran, incredibly deep off-screen, too.
Indeed. I mean, Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, that's absolutely central to her public image, no doubt.
Yeah.
But the article definitely reveals a much broader scope, both professionally and her personal pursuits, which were just as significant, really.
So let's start there, then. That iconic role, Major Margaret Houlihan on MASH. The article points out she was there for the entire 11-year run. That's an incredible commitment in television.
It really is. And the industry, they certainly noticed her performance, didn't they? The source mentions she was nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy.
Yeah.
Every single year from 1974 to 1983. That's 9 nominations in a row.
Wow, 9.
Yeah.
That level of consistent recognition is pretty rare. And she didn't just get nominated. She won twice, right?
Yep, twice, 1980 and 1982. It just underscores the impact she had, how that character resonated with, everyone, audiences, critics, year after year.
What's really fascinating, and I think this is key to understanding her contribution, is how the character evolved.
Exactly. The article mentions she started off sort of rigid, almost an antagonist.
Bit one note maybe at the start.
Kind of, but then transformed into this incredibly complex, respected, even vulnerable character over those years. It specifically calls out episodes like The Nurses and Bug Out.
Yeah, those are great examples.
Showing that evolution.
And that's where it gets really interesting, isn't it? To taking a character that, let's be honest, could have easily just stayed a caricature.
Oh, easily.
And bringing such depth, such nuance to her over more than a decade. It speaks volumes, not just about the brilliant writing on MSH, obviously.
Which was phenomenal.
But also about Swit's skill as an actor. To grow with the role like that. It wasn't just playing the same beat for 11 years.
Exactly. And that ability to portray complexity, that really helped MSH become more than just a simple comedy, right?
Totally.
It made it hilarious, but also deeply poignant sometimes, which is, why it still holds up, why it endures.
But, like you said when you shared this article, MSH wasn't the whole story. It wasn't the beginning or the end. This source takes us back. Her roots. Born Loretta Jane Swed, Passaic, New Jersey. And apparently she started performing super young, age 7.
Yeah, got an early start. And she had a strong foundation, too, trained at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Oh.
Her TV debut was actually in 1969, so well before MSH even began, she was already a working actor, popping up on popular shows.
Right. And the article lists some pretty big ones from back then. Hawaii Five-0, Mission Impossible. Bonanza. That's quite a diverse resume she'd already built before landing that life-changing M-Match role. It really shows she had range from the get-go.
It absolutely does. It highlights she was already this established professional, before becoming globally famous as Hot Lips. And her film credits before and during M-Match, they show this too, like Freebie and the Bean in 74, Race with the Devil in 75. Those weren't exactly MSH-like roles either.
No, definitely not. And she didn't just, fade away after MSH wrapped up in 83. The article makes it really clear her career kept going extensively across different mediums.
Yes, her post-MASH career, it stayed robust. The article mentions some notable TV movies like The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, became a bit of a holiday staple, right?
Yeah, I remember that one.
And guest spots on popular shows, mystery series like Murder, She Wrote, Diagnosis Murder. It just continued to showcase her versatility, different formats, different genres.
And it's something this article reminds us of. which, sometimes gets overlooked when someone has such a huge defining TV hit,
Yeah.
is her commitment to theater. She was active on Broadway, appeared in things like Same Time Next Year and The Mystery of Edwin Drood.
This is such a crucial part of her story, I think. Theater, it demands a very different kind of discipline, doesn't it?
Completely different energy.
And connection with the audience compared to TV. Her staying active on stage, even after hitting massive TV fame, it really speaks to a dedication to the craft, the acting itself. Maybe seeking different challenges, different rewards than screen work offered. It shows she wasn't just, a TV star, she was fundamentally a stage actor too.
Okay, so we've kind of explored the defining MAH role, how it evolved, her solid foundation before that in TV and film, and then her sustained career after MAH, including that important theater work.
Right.
But this article you shared points to another huge, maybe equally defining part of her life that was totally separate from acting.
Ah, yes.
Her deep passion for animal rights.
And what's fascinating here is the level of active commitment. This wasn't just, lending her name. She founded the Sweetheart Animal Alliance.
Right.
That takes a tremendous amount of personal effort, fundraising, organization, all of it.
Founding her own organization. That really underscores just how central this cause was for her, doesn't it?
Totally.
The article also mentioned she was honored by multiple animal welfare organizations, which suggests her work had a real, tangible impact in that world.
It really highlights that her legacy, it extends way beyond the screen and the stage. Her dedication to animal advocacy, it was just a fundamental part of who she was off camera, and a driving force that clearly took up significant time and energy. And the detail that donations in her memory can go to her alliance or to actors and others for animals.
Yeah.
It really emphasizes how intertwined this cause was with her identity, even within the entertainment community itself.
So pulling all these threads together then, from the article, you've got the unforgettable Major Margaret Houlihan, whose character deepened so much over a decade. You've got the versatile actor with this broad career across TV, film, and importantly, theater.
Right.
And then you have this fierce, active advocate for animals. It just paints such a much fuller, richer picture than maybe just the Hot Lips character allows for sometimes.
It truly does. It reveals a life lived with multiple, really significant passions and achievements, both professional and deeply personal. Understanding these different facets, which this article really helps us do, gives you a much more complete appreciation for the individual behind that famous role.
Exactly. It's so easy, isn't it, in our minds, to just let one single iconic role completely define an actor.
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time.
But Loretta Swit's story, as detailed here, it shows this much richer tapestry. Her extensive, varied career showing off different skills, alongside this profound dedication to animal welfare.
And this kind of connects to the bigger picture of legacy, While her on-screen work, that'll live on in reruns forever, absolutely.
For sure.
But her advocacy work, that had a tangible impact in a completely different arena. Touching lives, animal lives, in a really direct way that maybe acting couldn't quite do in the same fashion.
That's a really interesting point. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into the life highlighted by this article, maybe consider this. How much does an actor's most famous role really define them publicly? And conversely, how often do we maybe overlook the equally significant parts of their life outside that role? Their other creative work, their deep personal passions, their advocacy, like with Loretta Swit. What parts of a person's life, beyond their best-known achievement, do you find most compelling, most revealing about who they really were? Something to think about.